Hello my fellow book nerds. In this video, I'm going to show you guys some books that will boost your mood whenever you read them, because they are either very hilarious or just a very happy book, if you will. Now, I noticed how hard it was for me to make this list, because apparently I don't read that many happy books, and that's kind of shocked. Like, I was shocked to figure that out. But I'm going to show you guys those, and plus I have an announcement at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. So let's get right into the books. So the first one, I actually don't have the physical book. I thought I did, and I looked for it everywhere, and it's not there. But it's The Princess Bride. Who doesn't love The Princess Bride? That is one of the best books like ever, and the movie also is great. I love it, I love it, I love it. I mean, for one, I love that it's a grandpa, or I know it's his dad. I believe his dad is telling him the story, telling the story to his son, I believe. I'm trying to remember exactly how it is. Sometimes I recall it being a grandpa too, so that might be off. But he's telling him the story of a princess who falls in love with a, I guess it would be like her servant, I guess. And then he ends up leaving to end up making a good life for himself if he wants to marry her. And he ends up pretty much dying. But like during the whole thing, like it's a pretty, like, a really good story, and it is filled with danger and conflict and all that stuff, but in it, it's pretty like lighthearted and very sweet and funny during the whole thing. So that's one that I highly recommend, is The Princess Bride. It's written by, who is it written by? It's written by William Goldman. Goldman? Yeah. William Goldman. So fantastic book. So the next one I do have, and I love this book. Every time I think of if I want to read a funny book, this is the one I turn to. It's The Martian by Andy Weir, however you say his last name. This is such a good book because Mark Watney is just so funny. He has the personality of just making sarcastic jokes during the whole thing. He also he has like really random thoughts. My favorite one, if I could find it, I don't know if I'll find it right away, but I remember when they finally found out that he was alive on Mars, the guys were just sitting there like, what is the man thinking all alone in, wow, my arm looks really white, what's he thinking all alone over there in Mars? And then it turns to Watney, and he says, how can totally forgot that superhero's name. Aquaman. How can Aquaman control whales? They're mammals, they're not sea animals. That makes no sense. Makes no sense. I remember reading that the first time and bursting out laughing. So definitely a really good book to read if you want to smile and laugh at the expense of a Martian in space, or an astronaut in space. Next one. So Rick Riordan, I think, is an amazing writer, and he has written, I'm not going to say Percy Jackson, he has written a ton of books, and he's just funny. He writes funny characters, and they are great. So the next one of the Heroes of Olympus is The Trials of Apollo, because Zeus blames Apollo for the war with Gaia. I don't know how to say her name. I should Google these names, but I mean, come on, who can pronounce all of them? But anywho, this book in itself is so funny because Apollo is probably one of the funniest gods out there. He's so self-centered and so but like, okay, he's kind of reminds me of like not Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man, Tony Stark. He's so self-centered but very sarcastic, and it's just funny. Though I think Tony Stark is a better character than Apollo, at least a bit more moral. But it is a funny book, definitely one to pick up. I think you can just pick it up and read it if you haven't read the other series, but very funny book. You go with Apollo because he is now changed into a teenager that has acne, and now he has to figure out how to save the, well, Delphi, which is a whole thing, the Oracle of Delphi, but you know, it is a good book. Definitely need to read. Next one. I read this when I was a kid, and I thought it was the sweetest, cutest. It made me smile just thinking about these two. It's called Flipped. Wait, I'm doing it wrong. Flipped. The little chick is upside down. And it's written by Wendelin Van Dranen? Right there. It's about a little girl and a little boy. They're pretty much like 12, I think. And the girl fell in love with him, and he hates her guts. But the story is pretty much how that flips, and how she ends up not really liking him anymore, and he falls for her. And there's like 12, so it's really cute, and it's an adorable scenario. And it is, both of the characters are very sweet, and I also have the parents that are around that are very sweet and bring in a lot of character into the story. They provide pretty much the guidance that these little 12-year-olds need to figure out how to live their little 12-year-old lives. It's so sweet. I definitely recommend it. It's so short too. It's totally worth reading. Okay. Another Rick Riordan book. Now this one, it's like all his books are connected. This one's Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard. So you wouldn't think that this would be connected to the Percy Jackson books, because those are Greek gods. But no, these are how do you say it? Nordic gods, I believe. But somehow they are connected. I won't tell you how, because it's actually pretty big, you know, big reveal, so I'm not gonna do that. But Magnus Chase, he himself is not a very funny character, but everyone around him, he has a lot of characters, there's a lot of people around him that are funny, especially like I think his uncle is funny, and then, well, he dies in the book, and that's where the adventure really starts in the book. So it's very fascinating, this book. Totally worth a read. I don't believe you need to know all the other books, or I've read all the other books, but this one, look how pretty it looks. It looks so pretty. But definitely a good read. I recommend it. Another one I do not have the book for, because I got it at the library and read it. I actually read it for a class in college. It was a kid's book. Very fascinating. But the book is called, A Year in the Life of a Complete and Total Genius. It is written by Stacey Morgan. I can't remember names. Stacey Matson is who wrote it. Now this book is really sweet. It's also about 12-year-olds and their little world. I think he's 12, maybe a little younger. Yeah, but he's a very super smart kid, and he is trying to win this contest. Win this story writing contest and win the love of his life over. And he also has to tutor pretty much the bully. The bully is actually quite nice. So he is pretty much just stuck up and kind of a horrible kid during the whole thing, but they kind of she kind of balances out with he's acting this way because his mom passed away. So overall, it's a really good book. It's not like a story, well, okay, it is a story, but it's not written that way. It's written where the kid is pretty much writing like a writing log of his daily life, also a log with the bully and him are supposed to keep with the teacher that he's tutoring the bully. So the teacher asked them to have to write a log of how the classes went or the tutoring sessions went and all that. That's how it's written. So it's a very unique way to write a story. I think it's great. It's so sweet. I remember smiling through this whole book and I thought it was great. So I think that's all. Oh no, that's not all the books. I have one last one, and it is a non-fiction book, but it did make me smile during the whole thing and made me laugh because I'm like, oh, I can't do this. It is Adulting: How to Become a Grown-Up in 468 Easy-ish Steps by Kelly Williams Brown. She is a funny person in itself, and that's why it is a funny book to read. And though she does give you amazing tips, and I have like all the tips that I wanted to, you know, put into my life, and I'm pretty sure I've forgotten all of them, but we'll ignore that for now. So overall, it is a very good book. She's very sarcastic and funny and tells funny stories throughout the whole thing while giving you all these steps, easy-ish steps to become an adult. I think so. Well, it's a good book. I recommend that you read it if you want a funny non-fiction book where you feel like you're still getting something out of it, but you know, are happy through it all. I think we all need a little bit of joy in our lives at the moment, so that is why I thought of making this list. Okay, so those are all the books, but I do have an announcement. The About the Story website is now up, and I'm super excited that it's finally up because I am writing short stories to put in there, as well as book nerdy stuff, book reviews, a bunch of just book content is on the website. So if you are enjoying these videos and you want a bit more, go and check that out. It's at aboutthestorymedia.com. I highly recommend it. If you will please go check it out. It'd be awesome. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you like these books. Tell me a funny book that you have read so I can read it as well, because I need to expand that in that genre, the humor genre. Apparently I need to get into that more. So yeah, thank you for watching. Please like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell down below, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye guys.